We're going inside the toy box with The Incredibles, so let's get cracking! Hello, all my explorers, and welcome back to Loren's Adventures Out There. And if you're new, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. My name is Loren, and I'm with Castles, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We talk Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, 20th Century, The Muppets, National Geographic, Hulu, Disney Plus, ABC. If it's about Disney, we are talking about it. So if you like that kind of content, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit that bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Before we begin today's Inside the Toy Box, I just wanted to reach out and thank everybody for being so nice about my health and being concerned about my health and all of that. We did have a scare and I was hospitalized, and I'm glad to be out, and I feel like I'm doing a little bit better, but I have to take it day by day. There has been such great kindness that has been shown to me during this process, and just reminds me once again that we have such a great Disney YouTube community out there, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for bearing with me, and I hope that you continue to enjoy the content that I put out. And I also wanted to apologize to people who I might not have been able to comment on your YouTube videos, but I have been watching. My hands are a little bit hard to use these days. Like, it's very hard for me to type and, things like that, and I keep fumbling. So if you haven't seen me comment on your pages or anything like that, know that I've watched it, I've liked them, and that I really enjoy your support. So thank you, everybody. All right, well, that is it. Sorry to get into the little sappiness of it all, but I just wanted to, again, extend my gratitude to everybody who's been so kind to me. All right, well, anyway, we are continuing our series, Inside the Toy Box. This is our series looking at the films of Pixar Animation Studios in chronological order. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorites, and that is 2004's The Incredibles. The Incredibles tells the story of a family of superheroes living mundane lives in the suburbs. Bob, the patriarch and Superman-like archetype, is stuck in a rut. He used to be one of the world's greatest superheroes until the American public began to sue them, and they had to go into hiding. Helen, his wife and elastic superhero, is left to be the only one to engage with her family of superpowered children. Then, one day, Bob accepts a secret assignment that starts making him feel more confident, but unbeknownst to him, drawing him and his family closer to danger. The family must come together in a way that they never have become before to save not only themselves, but the world. The Incredibles dates back to 1993, when Brad Bird signed a production deal with Warner Brothers Feature Animation, starting with directing The Iron Giant. The work was taking a toll on him and his family, and he started sketching a superhero family with everyday problems. In the book To Infinity and Beyond, the story of Pixar Animation Studios, Bird said of The Incredibles, "Consciously, this was just a funny movie about superheroes, but I think that what was going on in my life definitely filtered into the movie." When the Iron Giant bombed in the box office, Bird went to visit his friend John Lasseter and, in 2000, pitched the idea to him. Lasseter liked the idea and signed Bird to a multi-picture deal with Pixar, starting with The Incredibles. The film was a departure for Pixar in a few ways. First, the film would be written and directed solely by Bird himself, as opposed to having multiple writers and directors. This would also be the first film Pixar would do with human main characters. Bird had already had all the family archetypes mapped out by the time he started at Pixar. He also had the pleasure of being able to show his story reel to the legendary Hayao Miyazaki, regarded as the Walt Disney of Japan, and who was visiting the studio at the time. He asked if the story made sense to him, and Miyazaki told him, "I think it's a very adventurous thing you are trying to do in an American film." Syndrome was originally a minor character, but was made into the main villain because the filmmakers liked him better than the character he originally intended to be the villain. Helen's friend Snug was originally intended to pilot the plane, but Lasseter suggested he make Helen the pilot. The most interesting thing in casting was the role of Edna Mode. Lily Tomlin was originally offered the role of the diminutive fashion icon, but she ended up turning down the role. After several failed attempts at casting Edna, Bird just decided to voice the character himself. Bird ended up bringing his creative team from the Iron Giant. Many of the animators, including Bird, had not really worked in CGI before, and so there was a learning curve. But Bird ended up finding CGI to be, quote unquote, wonderfully malleable, although not particularly friendly. The storyboards exposed some of the limitations of the time. You had 2D animators trying to work with 3D animators, both not familiar with the medium. This would be Pixar's most challenging piece yet. Then there was a challenge of Pixar never having humans being the stars of the show. In Monsters, Inc., Pete Docter was convinced to give Boo pigtails to save work on her hair. But in this film, Violet had to have long, flowing human hair that would cover her face. And Bird refused to compromise. At one point, Disney suggested that live action might be better, but Lasseter disagreed. New technologies were developed, and the film challenged both Disney and Pixar in major ways. Bird joked, "Basically, I came into a wonderful studio, frightened a lot of people with how many presents I wanted for Christmas, and then got almost everything I asked for." The Incredibles would be the first film from Pixar scored by the legendary Michael Giacchino. Bird originally wanted John Barry to score the film in hopes that he would bring the retro feel of his earlier works. But Barry did not want to retread old work. So Giacchino was brought on board. He recorded everything in analog to enhance the retro sound and to make the brass ornaments pop. This would become one of Pixar's most iconic scores to date. While Bird said that he wasn't inspired by any particular superhero group, comparisons were still and are still drawn to Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. So much so that 20th Century Fox had to rework a lot of its 2005 adaptation of the Fantastic Four to match the special effects of The Incredibles. Box office wise, the film made just over $630 million worldwide. For 15 years, The Incredibles had the biggest November opening weekend for an animated film until it was dethroned by Frozen 2 in 2019. Critically, the film scored 97% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, with critical consensus stating, "Brings loads of wit and tons of fun to the animated superhero genre. The Incredibles easily lives up to its name. The Incredibles received 4 Oscar nominations, winning 2 for Best Animated Feature and Sound Editing. In 2018, after long last, Pixar released a sequel simply entitled The Incredibles 2, which also proved to be a commercial and critical success. So, what did I think of The Incredibles? It is one of my favorite Pixar films. I think it is probably number 5 in my ranking of Pixar films. It's just so good. The superheroics in it are just so great. And while he says that this was not based on the Fantastic Four, I'll tell you, to date, this is the best Fantastic Four movie. It captures the family dynamics of that comic book, as well as, mirrors some of the superpowers and archetypes of the family. And I just think that it's so great how he did this film. It's amazing to me that this was Pixar's first film with human characters. And while you can definitely see the upgrade in technology from the Incredibles to the Incredibles 2, the animation of the human characters in this film does not bother me as much as, say, the original Toy Story with like Sid and Andy looked very, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I just thought that was really great. Michael Giacchino's score, still one of my favorites. I think Up is the only one that beats it. So and both of them were done by Michael Giacchino, ironically. Uh, just such a great film, and I really enjoyed watching it again. It just brought back so many great memories, and I kind of want to watch it again. Maybe I will later. Anyway, did you watch The Incredibles, and what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you had a good time today, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below, and visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you later. Bye!